Kyle Mohan Racing. We're hanging out at the shop. Today we're doing a tech talk, a technical talk about Mazda RX8 Renesis intake manifolds. Everybody wants to know how to make a couple extra horsepower with their Renesis powered RX8, and everybody wants to know how to make their RX8 last longer. We're going to talk a little bit about those potential options being in the intake manifold right now. So while I worked at Mazda Tricks, spent time heading up their race program and engine development divisions while I worked there, and was even the lead of their engine department at one time. One of the things we found out was the Renesis motor does have potential hidden away, but it's not all hidden in one place. So the intake manifold from the factory has some easy gains to be had. If you look closely, it's not the best lighting, and I'm knocking it over now, but the casting itself has a lot of sharp edges, and the casting coarseness is rough, roughly a 60 grit sandpaper, and that coarseness traps carbon, slows down airflow, and generally reduces the air volume that's potentially allowed to go through the RX8 intake's manifold's tuned intake. And yes, it is a tuned intake. The actuators are part of that intake. If these actuators aren't working properly, carbon buildup, coarseness, reducing overall airflow, that's going to reduce the performance of your RX8, lower than stock. And we're always trying to achieve better than stock performance, both when it comes to reliability and longevity, and when it comes to performance. That's just what we did at Mazda Tricks. We built fast race cars out of rotary powered vehicles. The RX8 is one of them. That's my race car right there. So we try to offer advice to our customers. If you've got your intake manifold off of a Renesis motor, it's a good idea to not only decarbon your actuators, but potentially polish anywhere that air is going to pass across. If you think about air volume and airflow in general, air will tumble across a coarse surface or over a sharp or jagged edge. That essentially creates a slower moving air barrier running against the coarseness of the walls of the manifold, and a faster charge that's moving down that center area. The more we can blend this stuff together, the more overall air volume your Renesis motor is going to get. So, trying to achieve what I think the OEM manufacturers had in mind, which is not increasing the runner size, not porting the manifold, but polishing all your runners and removing a lot of those casting imperfections and sharpening the divisions that are important so the air is able to split and move at a faster rate and a freer charge volume than it would have from a factory casting. You know, if you think about it, when the factory designed this manifold, it probably didn't have 60 grit sandpaper internals in mind. That's just a byproduct of mass production. When it comes to racing, we look for opportunities like this to enhance performance and achieve higher goals. So this is a simple way to get more performance and more horsepower out of an RX8. I would not take the intake manifold off of a perfectly running RX8. But when the motor's apart, if you're working on the intake or it has some other reason, there's a couple horsepower to be gained. Some of our customers reported back in their race cars achieving anywhere from about a horsepower to upwards of 2.5 horsepower gains out of cleaning up their intake manifolds and their actuators. And I don't mean just, like wash. I'm talking about polishing and removing the casting crud so that air is able to move better. And even taking it one step further, if the motor is ported, I a lot of the times will also port match the actuators in the secondaries, because if you're spending all of this time to build a beautiful motor, whether it be street or race, obviously if it's ported, probably not street legal due to smog, so check your local laws. Have fun with your rotary, follow local laws, don't get yourself in trouble. Most of what I do is racing and off-road use. We like to have fun. Follow KMR, ask questions, and we'll be given advice on how to make more horsepower, have more braps, and have more fun with your rotary cars. Give us a follow, give us a like. We're making videos. We're racing rotaries. And here you can see what it looks like all together with your actuator ported, runners ported, and other upper and lower actuators ported for the tuned manifold.